Hello everyone, welcome to week 1 deep dive, and for the deep dive lessons we're going to be creating a credit button and a how to play button. It's going to work a little bit differently like our previous game, and we're going to also be working on a little bit of an animation for it as well. So to start off, we're going to create the credit button. So for those of you who don't know, a credit button is just kind of how we have on our game here. So I can head back. And you guys can see here we have a notes and credit. Credit is just giving credit to people who has done work. So for example, if you guys found artwork from Google, obviously you guys can't find exactly who drew it, but you can say images from Google's, sound from Scratch, artwork from me, and you can put your name on it. Coding, since you guys did your own coding, you can put your name on that as well. So to start off, we're going to hover over, choose a sprite, and we're going to click on the paint tool. We're going to go ahead and call this credit. And then once we're done, we're going to use the text tool. We're going to find the font that we want to use for it. And then we want to go ahead and make the text for it. Make sure you guys pick your color that you want to use for this as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and make this just a bit bigger. If you need to, you can also use the select tool afterwards and give it an outline, which I will, just so that it kind of stands out a little bit more. So now that I have the actual text here for my credit, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and start coding this. If you guys want to add a background to it to make it look more like a button, you guys can do that. If you guys want to decorate the text, you guys can also do that. It's kind of just up to you. You can also add a shadow too. You guys can do that easily just by clicking on the select tool, clicking on the text, copying and pasting it, changing the fill to a black and an outline as well to the black if you do have that, and moving it behind it just so that it pops up a little bit more. So for the code, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go to the yellow events tab, and we're going to use when green flag is clicked. We're going to go ahead and go into looks, and we're going to add a hide. Underneath, we're going to go to the blue motions tab and add a go to X and Y. The X is going to be 240, and the Y is going to be negative 143. Once we have that, we're going to go into control, and we're going to wait 1.5 seconds. Then we're going to go ahead and go into looks. We're going to add a show underneath, and then a go to front layer. And then the last thing we want to do is in the blue motions tab, we're going to add a glide 1 second to X and Y, and this is going to add a little bit of an animation for us. We're going to glide for 0.1 seconds. We're going to change the X to 0, and the Y we're going to go ahead and change to negative 143. Once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and make it into a button. So in the yellow events tab, we're going to use when this sprite is clicked. I'm going to broadcast a new message, and we're going to call this credit as well, and click OK. Then we're going to go ahead and add another glide, but since I have one underneath, I'm just going to duplicate it, add it down here. It's still going to be for the same amount, except for this time we're changing the 240, the 0 to 240 instead. And our Y is going to remain the same, and underneath we're going to go into looks and hide it. Next, we're going to go back to the yellow events tab, and we're going to use when I receive game start. We're going to do something similar here. So we're just going to duplicate this bottom bit and add it underneath. So we're going to glide 0.1 seconds. X is going to remain the same. Our Y is going to remain the same, and we're going to hide. Now we're going to go ahead and do one last piece. So we're going to go ahead and add a when I receive. We're going to change this to a new message and call it show menu. We're going to click OK. So when we're showing our menu, we're going to go into looks. We're going to hide. Then we're going to go into the blue motions tab and add a go to X and Y. The X is going to be 240. And the Y is going to be negative 143. Underneath this, we're going to go back to control and we're going to add a wait 1.5 seconds. Then we're going to go ahead and go into looks, add a show, and a go to front layer. And then the last thing we're going to go ahead and do is back in the blue motions tab, we're going to add a glide 1 second, which we're going to change to 0.1. The X is going to be 0, and our Y is going to be negative 143. So now that we're done with coding what we need for our credit, now we need to make another sprite, which once this is clicked, is going to go ahead and change it for us. So that's what we're going to work on next.